So let's get started. So the Title I Part D Subpart 2 program, as you know, is operated by the LEA. We generally monitor Subpart 2 programs on a 3-year rotation. We send out monitoring notifications in late fall and start scheduling the visit dates after the first of the year. More detailed planning starts about a month out from the scheduled visit, and communication will come from either Monica Shack or myself, depending on who will be carrying out the visit. Once the detailed planning starts for the visit, we'll send you a link to the delinquent monitoring tool on SharePoint. This will allow you to upload your documentation in a central location before the on-site visit based on the different sections of the monitoring checklist. I did attach a very short video on how to navigate SharePoint for monitoring just in case you needed it. The documentation should be uploaded about 2 weeks ahead of time, if at all possible, so that most of the evidence can be reviewed before the site visit. Please do not upload any student identifiable information due to FERPA laws. We'll look at that additional evidence on site. We will conduct interviews with district and facility staff. We'll need to speak with the district Title I Part D contact, the district finance officer, the facility contact, and that could be the principal, head teacher, any educational assistance that may be paid from Subpart 2 funding. We'll need to speak with the transition coordinator or whoever is responsible for transition issues, and students. Now, we do give the district the choice as to whether they would like us to do classroom observations or student interviews, because depending on the facility that you serve, student interviews may not be the best option. If time allows, we would like to tour the facility, and we'll also have a quick debrief meeting at the end of the visit. A program report will be sent 4 weeks after the visit, and this report will contain program strengths, recommendations, and findings. If there are findings, the report will include a deadline and information on how to complete any actions required. When uploading documents into SharePoint, there are folders for each section on the monitoring checklist. Please try to label your files so that they are easy to identify. An item you might upload in the budget section would be your current munis report, so a good way to label that would be the section, the question, and what the document is called. So as you can see on bullet 2, an example would be like section 3, question 2, walkthrough notes, just as an example. We'll be checking for the current child count that was submitted to KDE and the verification for that count. If needed, we will look for previous year's data verification. We also look at your performance report data before coming on site to help determine any opportunities for improvement. Items such as the performance report and application, you don't need to upload because we do have access to those within GMAP. Any questions so far before we take a quick look at the monitoring checklist? Okay, I did have one question that came in ahead of time, and so it says, can we still access the old documents that were uploaded from past monitoring visits? So if you were given access in the past to the site, then you should be able to access those old documents. So here you can see some instructions there. So once you're on the delinquent monitoring tool site, you'll click on Tools in the top right corner. Then you'll select Site Contents. And then this should provide you with a list of the folders you have access to. If you're still having trouble with that, then just let me know. Another one that came in ahead of time is, what is the time frame for the visit, such as for like interviews with administrative staff and teachers? So here is a typical monitoring day, and this can be tailored to what best meets your schedules and your needs for that day of the visit. The Title I Part D contact will complete this and send it back to the state coordinator that's conducting the visit. Oh, and yes, Donna asked if you could get a copy of the PowerPoint, and definitely we'll send that out to you. Okay, anything else before we move on? Okay. So let's take a glance through the checklist. I attached it for your convenience today, but we will also include this in our communication when planning the details for your specific visit. There are 8 sections within the checklist. Each question has sample documentation listed in italics. You're not limited to what's listed, but it'll give you a starting place in your collection of documentation. So here we have the Subpart 2 monitoring checklist. The first 2 pages of the checklist is general information about the program, like the name of the facility, the district, start time, etc. The purpose and statute are on the first page for your reference, as well as the rubric. The first section is the administration and fiscal management. Most of this section can be answered from your application. The last 8 questions in this section will require different documentation as they relate more to fiscal management. Then we move on to the comprehensive needs assessment section. This section looks at your completed needs assessment, the data sources and processes your district uses. This section will also tie into the next 2, which are program and student evaluation. So it's possible that a piece of documentation could be used to support more than one question. Next is instruction, and then professional development. And these sections look at such things as alignment to standards, collaboration and coordination, and equipping staff. Finally, the checklist covers parent and family engagement and transition. We understand that parent and family engagement may be limited due to multiple reasons. We're looking for effort if it's applicable to the student situations and facility. Transition is such an important piece, as you all know. This section ensures that someone has the responsibility in the district to address transition issues and to work towards making transition smooth and uninterrupted for each student in your care. You'll provide documentation for such things as supporting the different activities you're doing, the plans created for each student, how you're using technology to help students transition, and so on. Any questions about the checklist or just in general? Okay. Well, if you have questions later, feel free to call or email us. And like I said, we'll send the recording out for you to reference later if needed. Okay, well, that's all that I have for today. Thank you all for taking the time to participate. I hope you found it helpful. I am looking forward to seeing all of you all very soon. And if you do have any questions, feel free to call or email. I'd be happy to help. And if you don't have anything else, then you all have a wonderful day. And thank you again for joining.